Professor Theoceratops, and may I introduce you to Digging Deeper Bite-Sized. Hello, and welcome to episode 12. I am truly delighted that you could join me again today. Now today, I thought this episode, what we might do is just focus in on some questions, because you young pups have had a lot of good questions. Okay, so my first question is from Lucy at 10:30. Now Lucy asked the question, how can you be a Christian without praying or reading the Bible? Now, Lucy, that is a fantastic question. But a helpful thing to remember in all of this is that being a Christian is not about doing things. Rather, it is about relationships. It is about being God's children and His friends. Now, that means that we want to listen to Him. And we want to talk to Him. Do you think, can you really have a relationship with someone without ever listening to them or talking to them? No, of course not. That would be as bad as my mother's cooking was. No, a relationship needs talking and listening. You see, it's the same with our relationship with God. If we never listen to Him and never talk to Him, it's not much of a relationship at all, is it? So, it's not really being a Christian if we don't spend time with God in the Bible and in prayer. It's not, is it? I hope that answers your question. Get ready for the next question in just a moment. Welcome back. Now, my next question is kind of two questions from different people. Cameron at Peninsula Evie has asked, why did God make the angel that turned into Satan? And Phoenix at Saturday asks the question, why did God let the devil into earth when God knew that His creation was perfect? Now, boys, they are great questions. Why did God let the devil into our world? He is evil. And why would God let him in? Well, the Bible, just here, tells us a number of things about God. And one of them is that God is on about His glory. He cares about His glory. He works for His glory. Now, what that means is that God is so amazingly good, and He wants to be good, and He wants His people to see His goodness, because He is the best. He wants His goodness to just go everywhere because it's so good. Now, that is really good news for us, because that means that we get to experience God's glory, His goodness. He is good to us. But for that to happen, that means that God needs to show us His goodness. Otherwise, we won't see it. And one of the best good things that makes God's goodness great, oh my goodness, is, one of the best good things that makes God's goodness great is His love and forgiveness. His love and forgiveness. He has so much of it that He has to give to us. He has so much that He wants to give us. It's like He has this much, or He has more than this much, but pretend it's like He has this much to give us. But you see, if we were always perfect, we wouldn't need to be forgiven. And so we wouldn't get to experience the fact that God loves us this much. That He'd send Jesus to die, to forgive us. It would be like we could only experience that much of His goodness. Do you see? But in creating a plan where God can show us how much He loves us, that He would send Jesus to die for us, we can experience the full amount of His love and forgiveness. That is why the devil is around to tempt us, so that God could send Jesus to die for us. And that is the best thing he could ever do. If he didn't do that, we wouldn't see God's goodness. We'd be missing out. You see, God let the devil come to earth so that God, could send Jesus and let us experience and enjoy his goodness and his glory. That is so amazingly good. How good is that? I hope that helps answer your question, boys. Please stay tuned for the next question. The next question, well, I actually have two questions from the same person. Brody at Saturday EV, he's the question champion at the moment. He's asked so many good questions. Now, Brody asks, how did God get the power to make the world? Now, this is a little bit of a mystery to us, Brody. You see, I have the power to see, thanks to my glasses, because God made me with eyes. He gave me that power, the power to see. But God, he wasn't made, as we saw in episode 1. The Bible, it tells us that God never changes. So that means he has always had those powers, always had them. Now, I don't know why he has them. It's just because that is what he's like. That he is God and God has those powers. But how good is it that he uses them to make us and to save us through Jesus? I'm so happy he uses those powers for good. Now, Brody's second question, he asks, why did God choose Mary and Joseph to have Jesus as their baby? Again, an interesting question, Brody. This one is a little easier to answer, but still tricky. I love it. I really do. Keep them coming. Now, God promised that Jesus would be born into a Jewish family. Way back in time, he promised it. And this Jewish family would have to be King David's great-great-great-great-great-grandkids. Now, Mary and Joseph, they were Jews. And they were the great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandkids of David. Not Jesus, of David. I don't want to go through all those greats again. Of David. So they worked. Now, there wasn't something super special about Mary or Joseph. God just chose them to be Jesus' parents. They were Jews, and it does seem like they trusted in God, which was fantastic. But God just chose them. How good is it, though, that he chose someone to be Jesus' parents and bring him into the world so that he could save us, hey? Fantastic. Now, everyone, I love these questions. Keep them coming in. Keep digging into the Bible. Keep digging deeper into the Bible, even if it is just in bite-sized pieces. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. I'm Professor Theoceratops, and God, in the Bible, has the answers. Goodbye.